Okay, now we're going to move on to the third level of cleaning, which is what we call the full immersion, or giving your trumpet a bath. And you can use any number of vessels. I suggest a sink, or I'll tell my students to go out and buy a Rubbermaid bin that will accommodate the trumpet and all of its slides. One thing in particular, before we get too far on this, is when I'm talking about immersion, everything goes in the water except the valves. The top of the valves have often felt pads or sometimes rubber pads, but we really avoid soaking the whole valve in water. So we're going to set the valves to the side, not place them in, wash them separately from the rest of the horn. So every part goes in the water. All the slides, all the valve caps, all the components of the trumpet, but the valves. Set for 15 to 20 minutes. And then come in there, get your snake, grab the horn. Same process as the intermediate clean. Start with the larger part of the snake, come in through the receiver and the lead pipe, push it through slowly, taking your time. It's something you're going to hear me say a lot when dealing with the trumpet and all music, really. There's no reason to rush any of this process. When you push it through, you're going to see some organic material. Might be a little gross. That's okay. We're trying to keep this horn clean, so it's best that you do this regularly. Pull the snake all the way through. And then you can do that same process with other components of the trumpet, all these slides. These are going to be terminal though. You're not going to push this snake all the way through because you run into the valve section. So push it in, pull it back out. Do that for each of these sections, in and out, and then run some lukewarm water throughout the whole horn. Save your valve section for last. This is where you can use a valve brush, which I mentioned. You can also get away with using the snake. Take the snake or the valve brush from the bottom, push through. I like to use this as a terminal approach too, just get to the end and pull it through. If you start dragging the snake through, you might scratch the inside of the valve casing, and as I've mentioned before, the valve casing and the valves are the most sensitive part of the trumpet. So let's just use a little terminal run to the end, pull it through, all three valves, again, rinse with some lukewarm water, and then set the trumpet aside. Because the last portion of the cleaning is going to be the valves. Again, valve brush or snake. You got 3 ports on these valves, and you're going to push them through very carefully. Back and through, and again, terminal. We're not trying to go through and pull the whole snake through. We don't want to scratch it. All 3 ports. Again, even on this trumpet, you can see there's some organic material. That's what we're looking for. We're trying to clean that all off. So then run some lukewarm water. Do that process for all 3 valves, and then light cloth, just dry them off. Because before you put the horn back together, you want the valve section to be very dry because you're going to put the oil in. So we're trying not to mix a bunch of oil and water at first. It's really not a problem because there's going to be some moisture moving through the horn. But great to get a good start by drying the valves off before you reapply oil and put the whole horn together. That's it for the full wash.